Let's get to business. Why has Joseph Kabila not left office?
You know, for me, he's a selfish man. I think Joseph Kabila was happy to come in as a president. He's scared to leave the office. It's my first time to see somebody. You come in, you're happy, and you don't want to go.
Do you regret leaving the
No.
Democratic Republic of Congo?
Yes, because you see, I was a governor for almost 9 years. I was born in Congo, grown up in Congo, educated in Congo, and I'm going back as quick as possible because my place is not in Europe, my place is in the Congo.
We're going to talk about the politics of Congo, and I should say that I spent this year 4 wonderful days in eastern Congo, near Goma, where the gorillas are cheaper than in Rwanda. You've had a fascinating career. As you say, you grew up in a family of 10 children. Your father was an immigrant, a very successful businessman. Tell us a bit about your childhood.
You know, I was born in a small village. My father came very young. The time there was a problem between German and the Jewish community, and my father ran away from Rhodos in Greece, and my grandfather and my grandmother was killed in the camp, and my auntie, she's still alive. She's now 87 years old, and he had a chance to go in the Congo because my auntie, the older sister, was in the Congo, and he found himself in town because my father was, I think, a handsome man at that time, and all the Jewish girls had a problem with him, with the families. So because of his beauty, they sent him in the village to go and work, so outside of all the Jewish girls. So that's why he went to meet my mother in that small village.
Oh, apart from his beauty, he was obviously a very successful businessman because he had nothing when he came.
When he arrived, he had, I think, $10 in the pocket. And he went in a village where there was no electricity, no clean water, no decent house. So he went to work hard, starting on the fishing camp, organizing his shops. I think I have to congratulate him because there was no electricity. There was really nothing in the bush. He found himself a white man in the bush. So I think he did well. That's why also I tried to do like my father.
We'll come to. He made Africa work.
He made Africa work at that time because my father learned also the language, my mother language, and was speaking the Bemba very fluent.
Bemba. You speak Bemba too.
I speak Bemba because you are on the border of Zambia, in the river, Luapula River. So I'm a child from the river.
Right. Tell us about your early time as a little entrepreneur with your father. You went to deal in the beer business.
No, you see, when I went to school, I went very young. My father died, I was very young. So I remained with
He died of cancer, didn't he?
Cancer, yes, because I was smoking a lot since he had a shop selling cigarettes also at that time. And
just watch it. Yeah.
So I think my father died, I was very young. I went to the boarding school. I was 9 years old boy. And in that boarding school where I went, there was just the people from secondary school. Since my brother supposed to get married, is as a burden for my brother for me to remain with him at his house. So I went to the boarding school at 9 years and two from 6. So he went to ask the Benedict father to say if they can open also for the young boys for primary school. So I was the only one, and nobody believed me I supposed to stay in that school. I knew what I was looking for was my education and my future life.
When did you decide to go into politics?
You know, I never think even one day to say I'm going to go in politics. What happened is something very funny. I had a friend, a brother, late Ambassador Katumba Mwanke. I was doing very well in my business. So since there was the big war in the Congo, which there was 4 rebel group at that time when in South Africa, thank you to the South African people, because if you had we had the election in our countries because of South Africa. So he came and see me. Please, can you go with me to go and convince people for a new constitution for the referendum? I refused. I say, what is the referendum? Because my job was business. He said, listen, in life it's not just about business. You have to think about your people. You are doing very well in business. At least help us to go and convince the people to vote for our new constitution, which they voted almost 85% of the people. And that constitution, which President Kabila doesn't want to leave the office because the constitution gave him 2 mandates. So when I finished, they asked me to help them as a member of parliament.
Right.
I refused. I say, hey, I'm not a politician. What I'm going to go and do in the parliament? So, on the end, after negotiation.
After negotiation.
After negotiation, I was a candidate.
What kind of negotiation was that, by the way?
The negotiation was if I can help them because they are voting the lists. Right. If I can be on the one list to give them member of parliament. Right. And I was on the head of the list, and I was the best elected member of parliament in the whole country because there was almost 9,000 candidates, yes. And I was number 1. Right. So I went to resign because I didn't want to do politics. So in my list, I made in my list 12 another member of parliament.
Right.
So I went and resigned. And they asked me a favor to help them at the provincial level after 1 month. And right. I went also. I was the best elected member of parliament after 30 days.
Did you say the best looking or the best elected?
The best elected. The best elected member of parliament on provincial level after 30 days. And I resigned. I went back in my business.
Right.
And on the end, Professor Samba Caputo, Ambassador Mwanke, and Vital Kamere asked me to help them as a governor. I refused. There was a lot of discussion because I didn't want to go in politics.
Right. Okay, but you're now in politics. What is Joseph Kabila actually like as a person?
You know, I think Joseph Kabila betrayed a lot of people. Everyone trusted Joseph Kabila when he was coming in the office, even myself, because...
You trusted him?
Yes, I was working with President Kabila when he came in the office because himself was saying, listen, I'm going to respect the Constitution. I grown up in Tanzania. In Tanzania, there is democracy. And I'm surprised.
You believed him?
I believed him because if I met you for the first time, and since he came, he was a young president, everyone believed him. I think if he can check back himself, how many people got disappointed up to now.
Right. But he tried to poison you.
Listen, what is important for me is to see the future of my country. I just want to do the best for my country. This is the past. I am a man of the future. I don't want to check the past.
But he did try to poison you, you think?
It's not Joseph Kabila. I can't mention anyone. Right. I just say this is, if you are in Africa, politics is very dangerous. It's like you are going where there is snakes.
Well, clearly. Clearly. Now, a serious question, Mr. Katumbi. In the interests of DRC and perhaps your own future, if you came back, would you, or before you came back, would you give a guarantee of immunity to Joseph Kabila?
You see, I think our constitution is very clear. The former president is a senator for life. And me, if I win the election, I have to ensure President Kabila remain in the country to see the change which I'm going to do. I'm not going to go after a former president because after 5 years, people are going to ask me, Mr. Katumbi, really, what is your achievement? I'm going to say, is Mr. Kabila my achievement? People need change. If I'm supposed to go after President Kabila, I'm supposed to wait not to be a president. I'm supposed to wait to go with him in a state, in a rule of law, to go in justice with him. My aim is not to go after the former president, is to make the change of the country.
Exactly, because in Africa, succession is always a difficult issue, especially when you have a strong man in charge. So what you're saying is, in order to facilitate a peaceful transition, you would be prepared to make that commitment towards immunity against prosecution for President Kabila?
I'm prepared, President Kabila, to be prepared himself also too, because the key player is himself. He's supposed to organize election in 2016. In December, he didn't organize. So we went for talks. There is a new agreement which he doesn't want to respect. Arrive on the 31 December 2017. If President Kabila doesn't leave office, that is not the problem of Moise Katumbi.
No.
And that immunity is going to die also.
So there is a limited offer of immunity against prosecution from your point of view?
You see, if he goes as a gentleman, because I always say he's supposed to leave the office by a big door, hand over the power to the candidate, the next president who's going to win the election. Now, if somebody doesn't want to leave the office peacefully, what is the result for him? I think he's old enough, because he has been a president for 16 years old. You have to think about his future. He doesn't have to get scared about tomorrow.
Can you win as the president in waiting across the Congo River?
Yes, because you see, there are going to be a lot of candidates. I don't know how many, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. What is important for me is to participate. If I win the election, I need to change that country, at least to invite all the investors which are in this room all over the world to come and help us to build our country, because it's the private sector which are going to make a strong economy in our country.
We'll come to the private sector in a minute. Could you tell the audience who are your political allies in DRC that will help you win?
You see, the political allies who help me to win first is the people of the Congo, because it's not the politicians who are going to vote, it's the people of Congo which are going to vote for me. And I think for the result I had as a governor, there is a big hope from the people of the Congo. And also the politician like myself today. You ask me if I became a politician. Now I'm a politician, so I'm going to make sure to talk with everyone. And the opposition today, you are speaking just one voice. Say, let's go for election. You don't want the war. And if you can see the instability today is a big problem in my country.
If you were a betting man, and obviously you aren't, but if you were a betting man, when do you think the election will take place?
You know, I think the election have to take place 31 December 2017.
Well, in 3 months, that's not going to be possible.
It's possible because there was an agreement which the opposition and the majority signed after giving President Kabila 1 year more. I think Mr. Kabila is maybe a good tactician. Today we want to delay the election. He doesn't want to hear about the word election. Right. And he forgot he was elected because of election. I think really...
Has he got something wrong with his memory or something?
I don't know. Maybe he's living in another world, because the Constitution stipulated after his first mandate, is supposed to have 5 years. Congo is losing every day,
Yes.
every minute, every second if Mr. Kabila is in the office. His mandate is finished. Now is Mr. Kabila is not anymore a president.
So what, apart from your moral case and your legal case that he made a promise, where else is the pressure going to come from? The Catholic Church?
You see, I think if I can explain a bit about my case, there was the talks which everyone's supposed to go back in the country for our agreement which we signed between the majority and the opposition, which was led by the National Conference of Bishops Catholics, which I supposed to be in the Congo. President Kabila said, everyone can come back, only Mr. Katumbi Moise can't come back in the country. And President Tshisekedi, which is a shame, can you imagine, President Kabila is scared even for somebody who's dead to go back in the Congo, to go and bury him in the Congo. President Kabila is saying, no, that man is 8 months. Can you just believe the pressure on the family and on the widow? And I think on my case...
This is Etienne Tshisekedi, who's still in Brussels, in the morgue.
Still in Brussels. So to come back to your question, on the 31 December, the opposition refused to sign the agreement to give President Kabila 1 year more. And late President Etienne Tshisekedi called me, said, if you are not here, you are not going to sign. And all the opposition people, I said, no, what is important is not me. What is important is the country.
Yes.
You sign, I'll come one day. What I'm asking is for the bishop to go and verify those fake cases. After investigation, they say those cases was bogus first, masquerade cases. I think those is tactics for Mr. Kabila because the only man Kabila is scared about in the country is me.
The only person?
The only person at the moment is me because every day if I wake up, there is always something against me. And I don't care about that. I'm happy for him. He's doing my campaign. So I already employ somebody to do my campaign.
He's not asking for money, is he, for running your campaign?
No, I don't have even to pay because every day he's in South. Every day he must come and go. I'm going back in December.
You are going back?
I'm going
Definitely?
back. Definitely in December.
How are you going back? Which mode of transport?
No, I'll go back. I'll inform everyone. I'll call all the journalists who want to come with me. Everyone, I'll go peacefully, and I'll already inform the UN to say I'm going back, even the African Union. I think enough is enough. Congo is one of the richest countries. Today is the poorest country in the world.
Yes, it's got so much potential, as you were saying. But just one thing. So you are going back in December. Let me just ask other pressure points. I mean, Angola is is a regional powerhouse. It's got a serious army for nothing, for one thing. Do you think Angola can play a constructive role in ending this impasse?
You see, I went in Angola. My first time was in 1988. My first time I went to Angola. That time there was all between Savimbi and
Josu Savimbi.
Yes.
Jonas Savimbi. Yeah.
And I ran a team of football, and I became also the governor. The transformation which I've seen in Angola really is the first time. Some people are saying you are doing transformation. They inherited a very nice town by the colonial time, like in the case of Congo. We inherited very nice infrastructure, and President Kabila or the other president, they didn't add the value to those infrastructure. In Angola, there was no infrastructure. I went in Angola. myself with the football team, and I was the governor. I was visiting those other provinces. You should see how Angola rebuilt this country. Really, congratulations to President Dos Santos, because I was the governor. I was going to see the other governors. And to tell you about the army, you say the strongest army. You know, the budget of the army in Angola is the budget of the Republic Democratic of Congo. So it's up to you to see who's serious, who's not serious.
Do you think Sindika Dokolo has ambitions? He's from the DRC. Do you think he has presidential ambitions?
You know, Sindika Dokolo is my brother. He's a Congolese. And today, Sindika Dokolo also is in court because President Kabila doesn't want anyone to tell him, listen, Mr. President, stop, leave the country. You are a failure. Let other people continue with the country. And Sindika Dokolo is a Congolese who's defending his right as Congolese. So far, Sindika Dokolo didn't have any intention because he's my brother. I talk with him very well. He doesn't have any. His aim is Congo to change because you see today everyone.
He would be a very useful friend. Is he going to be your supporter for president?
You know, you see, what is Sindika Dokolo? His father was a big businessman in the Congo, and he grown up in the Congo. And he's seeing today internal displaced. Can you imagine? People are talking about Iraq. People are talking about other countries. Internal displaced in Congo is over 3.8 million people. Can you imagine? How can Sindika Dokolo keep quiet, seeing his brothers dying and others going as refugees? It's every Congolese. Anyway, the president can't see this. The president can see only his power.
Right. So let's, it's very unfortunate that I don't have more time to talk to you, but I'm fascinated. Just supposing you have a presidential election campaign, how much money do you think it will cost for you to run it?
You know, Congo is very expensive to campaign, and it's not very expensive. Since I was the governor of the country, people saw what I was doing. So I already done my campaign. Mr. Kabila wants to destroy my legacy, which he can't destroy. So my campaign is very done. It's not a lot of money. At least what I did as governor in the 9 years, I was the best governor in the country. Yes. Since I left, you can see the economy or the growth of Congo has gone down since I resigned. Up to 2 years' time today is a big crisis in the Congo. So sure they are not paying people. I think I did what I supposed to do. I think about the money is not a lot of money. I think it's the result which I did as governor.
Well, I certainly look forward to you improving the roads in Congo because my back is still hurting from longer. I got African massage.
Because you didn't come in my country, in my province. Sorry, when
are the roads better there?
Yeah. No, I did. You know, when I arrived, just example, where there is a lot of mining in Kolwezi, the trucks in the rain season supposed to do 3 months for 320 kilometers. When I became governor, I repaired those roads, bridges. People are doing 4 hours to be in Kolwezi today. So it's supposed to come. And the British government helped me a lot on the road because the road from Lubumbashi to Kalemi and to Bukavu and Manyema, they are calling that road Evo Road. And at least I came to negotiate with the British government as governor at that time. That time, the Minister of Cooperation was, I think, Andrew Michel.
Yes.
People are doing 7 months with a new truck. You need to buy spare part on the road. You need to repair your trucks. Today, people are doing at least 12 hours from Lubumbashi to Kalemi than to do 7 months. So you're supposed to come. I invite you even now, when I'm going back, you come and see those roads. Those massage, it's almost finished in my province.
That is definitely an invitation I can't refuse. Just one last question. Is there room for the Financial Times when you go to Congo, in the bus or on the plane?
There is a room for everyone. If it's to walk 100 kilometers, we walk. You need to do some gym to lose some cholesterol together.
You're talking to the man who went 6 hours up Mount Nyabonga in Virunga. So anyway, very good to talk to you. Thank you for coming. I think we should have you back to talk more about Congo's economic potential, but it was important, I think everybody would agree, to hear how you intend to go along the path to power as an exile back in Congo. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.